Salutations, respected viewers. I am George from Ireland. So this is commenting on the Conservative leadership battle. So who are the two men going toe-to-toe to be top Tory? Well, it's Boris Johnson, no surprise, and Jeremy Hunt. Now, remember, initially, I didn't think that Bojo would get into the top two, because although he does have quite a lot of supporters, there is perhaps a third of the parliamentary party which loathes him. Sees him for what he is, the glory boy, someone who's completely bereft of any principles, who's an egomaniac, as Nick Clegg said, Trump with a thesaurus, and so on. And you can notice how Bojo's already gone wobbly on Heathrow. Remember how he was going to lie down in front of a bulldozer to prevent it, and all the rest of it. There are others who, even if they have misgivings about him, say that he's a vote winner. He got to be Mayor of London, and that was not easy for the Conservatives even in 2008. And that was before the credit crunch that he managed to win that. So it's going to be Bojo against Jeremy Hunt. So it was all quite predictable. Now, I predicted that Rory Stewart would be knocked out at that next stage. Now, sorry, I didn't actually say it on my video. And then Sajid Javid would be, and it was the bottom one both times. What was not so predictable, but I thought likely, is that Jeremy Hunt overtook Michael Gove, because remember, both Gove and Bojo were leavers. So Jeremy Hunt, remember, campaigned for Remain 3 years ago. He accepts the leave decision, and now he wants to leave. So some of the Remainers, they've coalesced around him, thinking that he will try to go for a softer Brexit. But his idea of renegotiating is not very realistic. Remember, Dominic Raab was eliminated in an earlier stage. Raab talked about proroguing Parliament, and people have said that's an outrage. Rory Stewart said Parliament's not a building, it's an institution, so we can just meet anyway. Well, no, Parliament meets when it is summoned, and Parliament doesn't have to meet. Pitt the Younger twice went without Parliament for 6 months, so it is not unprecedented for this to happen. Anyway, Bojo's happy being the cynosure of everyone, but he has not been playing the buffoon as he usually does. No clowning around. He's got to act prime ministerial. I think Jeremy Hunt looks the part, who's obviously very slim. You'd never guess he's 53, goes jogging every day. Whereas people who are chubby are seen to have no self-control. Boris does go jogging, plays tennis, but he still manages to be hefty. He has a much younger girlfriend, so, you know, Bojo, he's sort of a fat kid, feel-good movie in himself, gives hopes to the likes of yours truly. Wow, younger ladies can be attracted to chubby guys. But anyway, Bojo is trying to play it safe, because he thinks, so long as I don't block my copybook, I will get the top position, and he's always had his eye on pole position. He wants to be Prime Minister. Jeremy Hunt is maybe more sensible, more moderate, in politics for the right reasons, cares about policies, is emotionally on an even keel, doesn't crave the limelight so much, is a bit dull, is a bit of an all-rounder. Really, nothing you can criticise him for. He's polite, he's healthy, he's slim, he's not had any extramarital affairs, he's made £40 million through Wallace Business, all the rest of it. He's a winner, but he's perhaps a bit too, how to put it, a bit too goody two-shoes. I think Hunt would be a better Prime Minister. Bojo's a far more attractive personality. Who would you rather have a drink with? I mean, there's no contest, it's Bojo. But, you wouldn't trust with Bojo with something serious. Even when he became editor of The Spectator 20 years ago, somebody quipped saying it was like putting a chimp in charge of a Ming dynasty vase. And then Bojo started doing a chimp face when that was said. And they had a photo of him like that. So he's a scream. He's just a barrel of laughs, Bojo. More laughs than a barrel of monkeys, but you don't want this sort of person being head of government. Now, if Bojo wins, as very likely he will, he'll appoint most of his rivals to the cabinet. I would suggest Jeremy Hunt too, because there doesn't appear to be any bad blood between them. He won't appoint Gove, neither would I, because of course Gove betrayed him 3 years ago, and Bojo must be thinking, but for that, I would have had that job. But would he have got a better deal out of Brexit than Theresa May did? I think it's unlikely. One thing is, as Bojo is on Trump's wavelength, they like each other, and Trump is praised Bojo to the moon. Bojo is willing to suck up to him. They're both disruptors. So after Brexit, trying to secure a reasonable trade deal with the United States, Bojo being Prime Minister means there's actually a slightly better chance of that happening, because, of course, Trump takes everything personally. It's all about him. Are you sufficiently obsequious towards me? If so, I'll treat you decently. But if you don't kowtow before me, oh well, then I'm going to be hostile. Nothing to do with what's good for the average American. So Sergeant Jarvid is said to want to be Chancellor Exchequer. He might well get that. It'd be time to clear out a May's team. People like Philip Hammond, seen as yesterday's man. Some people talked about him being the next Conservative leader, but it didn't happen. But the trouble is, Sergeant Jarvid's done a poor job as Home Secretary when crime has risen sharply. So as I say, the Remainers went for Hunt, thinking he's more Europhile, he'll try and have a soft Brexit, and Bojo just a bull in the china shop, no telling what he'll do. In terms of likability, name recognition, obviously Bojo wins by a country mile. Remember, it now goes to the members of the Conservative Party, something like 140,000 of them. These ordinary men and women around the country allowed to vote, and hopefully within 3 weeks it'll all be sorted out and it'll be announced. So Gove is slimy, depicted as a snail. I'm about to say Trump. Bojo would have defeated him by miles. Now I think he'll defeat Jeremy Hunt, but not by as much. By maybe 60%. It would have defeated Gove by more like 70%. So there we are. So Bojo's just got to try and keep his nose clean for the next 3 weeks or so. Notice he was very disciplined, didn't say too much, didn't give too many interviews, lest that he say something foolish and destroy his own chances. He could, of course, be his own worst enemy. That's why there was a Times cartoon today showing a fighter plane, Boris Johnson's a fighter plane, and what wins that he chalked up. He had several of his own faces drawn on the side of the fuselages, and he'd shot himself down so many times. So there we are. Get used to it. Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. It's virtually certain.